Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Welcome to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party Network. I'm Philip Gilfus, your host for the week. I'm joined as always by my two co-hosts, Darren Moser and Daniel Prue. Gentlemen, how are you doing this week?
Doing pretty good. It's been a nice end of the summer, and now we're shifting into our fall viewing schedule, I suppose.
Oh, fall. Well, fall is when Doctor Who comes on. In fall.
Just like Star Trek starts in spring? Is that how that works?
Also, Darren, let's not get ahead of yourself. You say the end of summer. I mean, it's towards the end of summer. But
yeah, I know.
Summer's not over yet. We have a few weeks left. Let's just slow. I mean, I know summer gradually rolls into summer in California. And
there's high summer and low
I'm
summer.
Just trying to pretend that I have different seasons. Give me this.
Oh, you're like. I am a human who can understand weather-related things.
A fall. That's the one with Christmas, right?
I'm trying so hard,
even
Daniel.
though you really have no idea. It's getting so cold out there. I can't go out there to swim anymore.
Yeah. The other day I was putting together a winter Lego set and listening to Christmas music. But it was probably like 80 degrees outside. But
No.
It's like hot out there.
Do you know what I mean? Know what I mean? Yeah.
I don't really watch the movies. So anything Star Trek going on? I will go first because I don't necessarily think I have anything, though I always say that and then I do. I did when we took a trip a couple or 2 weeks ago at this point, to Cherokee, North Carolina, which, like its name, is home to the Cherokee. But anyway, they did sort of have your typical.
Look, Dakota, North Carolina.
Well, it is related. We don't know what tribe.
Is that on Ukuchimura Drive? Is that how you get there?
Well, I think and we don't need to get into the history, politics of it, but Andrew Jackson, obviously not someone associated with the Native Americans or indigenous people, whatever the correct term is. But I know we have a Jackson County, North Carolina. I just never knew where it was. It's next to Cherokee, and that's unfortunate, I think. Whether you should rename it or not, I'm just saying it shouldn't be next to Cherokee. Anyway, but we went to one of the touristy places, and look, it benefits the locals. I'm not going to make fun of it. But you can buy random stuff, and obviously, whatever. But one thing I did end up buying, and it's hanging right there on my wall here, is they had a little live long and prosper sign.
Oh, cool.
So I was like, well, I can't afford not to get that. I mean, come on now. So...
Cool.
Thought it was a little cute. It has a little chain, thing to hang it up with. So it's here in the Trek room here.
Well, I started a rewatch.
Okay, so is it a Voyager like I am, or did you do Deep Space Nine maybe? Some old school Next Gen, or are you getting ready for Discovery?
I'm actually starting through Babylon 5 again.
Oh my god! Okay, I'm off the show, guys. I'll see you later.
So I'm up to episode 4 of season 1.
So spoilers this time.
Well, yeah. So this is the cool part, though, is now because I need to digest it and absorb it, and so now when certain things, like I just watched the one where
there's a hole in your mind
where the Soul Hunter was talking to Delenn, and he's like, "Oh, you would do such a thing." And now I'm pretty sure that's like her choosing to change into the part human, part Minbari.
Yeah.
So that was cool. So, there's moments like that where it's like, okay, now you can see what has been set up even more so. Because I had zero, foreknowledge watching it the first time. So, I mean, the last time only took me 51 days. So I'll probably watch it through the end of the year and then do something different. But
Spock!
Now, I will say, and we'll stop talking, Dan, but I will say that makes sense, Darren, though maybe not as soon as you finish it. That doesn't make sense. But anyway, that does make sense because that is a series that you're like, oh, it all comes together. And then you do have to watch it a second time to see, does it come together?
Yeah.
And, I'd say, 80%, 85%, he had trapdoors in case things didn't work out. So,
yeah, overall, it seems like it comes together pretty well.
So what about you, Daniel? How's your rewatch going?
Well, I have I've actually this week has been busy. I actually just got back from vacation. About
your summer vacation?
6 hours, kind of. If you want to put it that way. I got back from a beach trip, and not a lot of Star Trek this week because of it. I did see a building, and I wasn't able to take a picture of it, but it was cool because it was obviously 1701, whatever the road was, and they were very clear to accentuate. Like they had a big sign. I was like. And that could have just been because it was 1701, but I bet you the person there knew what they were up to. They knew what they were doing. So I was very excited to see that. Not a lot of Star Trek on the beach.
That's interesting. Because there's that, Star Trek on the beach. It's actually my favorite drink to order.
Star Trek on the beach?
Yes. Not a lot of people know how to make it. I think I've watched a few Voyager episodes, maybe one or two since we last gathered. Slowly but surely. Yeah.
So you washed the taste of Threshold out of your mouth?
Not yet. I'm backing up. There was the one, and I'm forgetting the name of the episode. It's, if you remember, it's the one where Chakotay's spirit is like floating throughout the ship. They don't find out till the end that it's him. Sort of have the medicine wall on the sick. Anyway, like it's not a bad episode, but it's one of those things where again I closing my mind to what's coming, so I'm just evaluating what I've seen so far. And then I just open the door a little bit to know I know what's coming. Like, they should just pick the bloody tribe for the man. Because this whole, vague Native American culture stuff just doesn't work. Because it doesn't, it's a mishmash. Look, I don't know how authentic. I'm sure it's authentic parts of Native American culture. But, it's like any other culture. It's huge. There's lots of cultures, So, if they just given him a tribe, I think it sort of would have helped that character a little bit. Instead of just, he's generic Native American, so he has everything. Well, then that's not real. But anyway. It's like, it's like, I'm American, so that means I say pop. No, that's not the part of America I'm from. I don't, anyway. So.
Chakotay is one of those things that just try as they might, it never, ever, ever gets better.
What?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, well.
It never gets better. You've never heard that hashtag slogan? It's really inspirational with the kids. Hashtag it never gets better.
Never gets. Well, have you done any more Star Trek Online? I did start as a Jem'Hadar, and that was it was interesting for those doing Star Trek Online. You can now sort of start as Jem'Hadar, though that throws you automatically level 40 or something like that, which is
high level.
Yeah, cool in a way, but and again, I'm sure I just wasn't playing with the controls enough. But I don't have the option to sort of scroll. I'm playing on PC over what everything means here. So I'm just pressing all the buttons in a ship battle and hoping it's good, and then. But
it's not a friendly game to jump into from the start. It is not a friendly game to jump into right in the middle. So
yeah.
And actually, speaking of STO, it was announced that they're adding Discovery content. In fact, featuring not Captain. Well, no, because they're not doing the mirror stuff. But Ensign Tilly is going to be doing the voiceover. They seem to do this. They the last big update
pick
was
one
the Deep Space
actual character.
Yeah, they'll pick a character and then they'll kind of model their whole content. So the last one was Odo with the Deep Space Nine stuff, and they had Renee on. Now they're doing Tilly. I think somebody else. Chief Security Officer of Lorca, who turned out to be bad, but also
the
really
Battlestar
bad.
Galactica lady
from Battlestar Galactica. Yeah. She's also
should learn her name. She's on Twitter. She seems nice.
Yeah. No, she seems perfectly nice, except.
Except for her character.
Yeah.
As a person,
yeah. So they're having Discovery themed, ships and stuff like that. So that's cool. I'm not sure how much I'll play it, but I like, as much as frustration as I have with Discovery, I like the high sort of this is all Star Trek and let's put it all together. This sort of thing. Because even in STO, you can do Kelvin stuff too. I haven't done it, but I'm pretty sure you can have Kelvin designs, right next to original TOS designs, right next to now Discovery. And so that's cool. It's all Star Trek, man. It's all good for me.
And I have been playing, not a lot, but since we last had an episode. So Star Trek Adversaries, that's what it's called, right? I played it on Steam a little bit when it was first in beta. And
is that the card game?
Yes, yeah, kind of, yes. And so then I played when it actually came out for real, and I like it because it's kind of mindless in a way, but, in a fun way. But now it is on iOS, so I've been playing it on my iPhone. So that's kind of, if you're looking for a game just to play with, and it's Star Trek Adversaries. I built my own deck. I'm not a whatever. I just picked stuff that was low and high, and so. But it's been fun to play with people. So because you play against people online, it's kind of mindless and fun. So cool.
Hey, more Star Trek content. They've been so terrible with the licensing for so long. To see this sort of resurgence now, it's cool. It's like, where's my Star Trek lunchbox, man? It's cool. Let's do it.
Seriously, where is it? It's one of those things like I wouldn't buy it, so again, why am I complaining? But where are the Discovery figures for? I mean, I know it's because it's all jacked up, but I'm like, come on now. Season 2, you don't have. I mean, you don't even need a Lorca figure now, right? So unless he comes back, so.
Well, rumor has it, Philip, that they can't do the Klingon. They can't commit to the Klingon molds
they're going to change him,
season 1 because apparently they're going to be so mind-blowingly different that us as fans are going to have a fit about it. Which, okay, that's an interesting way to put it, but
yeah, it's again, we don't want to date ourselves too much, but it is interesting to hear more about the Captain Pike stuff and. Allegedly, he's going to be in the entire season instead of just like what we would think would be a couple episodes or half a season. So
Spock was cast.
Yeah, Spock.
Right.
So we are going to get adult Spock on the show.
Now, are you like going to IMDb and looking up the actor and seeing how many episodes he's signed on for yet? Or
I haven't seen that. That's actually good. It's interesting, but
because remember Mud, remember what's his face was supposed to be in like 1 million episodes, which he was.
Rainn Wilson.
Yeah,
he was supposed to be in 5, and I think he was only in 2.
He was like 2 or 3.
3 maybe.
3 because that was a 2-parter for his first appearance, and then for the Magic Man, whatever, that was the third one.
I'm just happy that they at least said, "Hey, Spock's coming on the show."
Right, and had a little tweet with the Nimoy family to include Mrs. Dax. So
yeah, that was nice.
Yeah. So anyway, but I like say what you want about Discovery or anything about the franchise. The cast and crew is all family. Once you're a member, you're in the fraternity sorority of Star Trek. So I saw, especially with Star Trek Vegas, saw a lot of the Discovery people out, and they seem to be joining the fold. So. All right. Well, I thought we'd talk this week about something that we don't necessarily know a lot about, but maybe we think we do. And that is a section of Star Trek that especially focused in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and that is the Gamma Quadrant. Now, of course, we know the Alpha Quadrant, and as my British-German audiobook calls it, the Beta Quadrant.
The Beta Quadrant.
But, yeah, and they also call it the Tal Shiar, the Tal Shire, which I think is in The Hobbit. But anyway, that's the end of that. And then the Delta Quadrant, right? I mean, you could make a good map if you're watching Voyager closely of the Delta. It's half of it's the Borg, half of it's Kazon and other stuff. But anyway, so Delta Quadrant, we know a lot about it if we really sat and thought about it. But Gamma Quadrant, there's a Dominion. There's some people doing some GoFundMe board game things. What else is there? So we're going to be mapping out what we think we know about the Gamma Quadrant and what more we think is there or should be there or could be there. And then maybe if we have enough time and imagination, if there was a Star Trek series set there, what it would be like and would it be interesting. So I guess I'll start off, Darren, the Gamma Quadrant. Did you like what you saw, or what more did you think would be there as you watched Deep Space Nine?
It didn't have Ferengis thrown across the stars, but this was a good topic though, because like you said, there's not a lot. Like all we know is like the Dominion, and so but then we meet other races that are like not trying to kill us, and so it's kind of like, so is the Dominion, are we is the wormhole on the edge of Dominion space? Is it right in the middle? Like apparently it's not in Dominion space, it's just kind of there, but it also doesn't take the attack fleet very long to get from the wormhole to the Founder's homeworld. So I think, but overall, I think it would make more sense to look more to like how did Voyager do, far-flung space? Because again, this is similar, I was surprised that the wormhole wasn't in Dominion territory. It didn't feel like it, at least, because otherwise I think that they'd be much more controlling over who gets to go through the wormhole.
All right. Daniel, what did you want to see from the Gamma Quadrant, and who would be the Neelix of the Gamma Quadrant?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't know about Neelix. So what I think of when I think of the Gamma Quadrant is essentially, and I'm surprised you didn't think about this, Darren, is Star Wars space. Because it's this like ginormous region of space, definitely like enthralled and captured by a ginormous empire.
That's true.
So even like the smaller people that we meet, even like that one episode where the Defiant crashes on the Time Planet,
Right.
like
Children of
even
Time.
that stuff,
Brigadoon.
it feels like that's like far enough away, like it could exist in that same region of space, but everybody's aware of the Dominion and everybody knows not to cross the Dominion and everybody submits to the Dominion. So it's like this overwhelming force that exists in this sector of space, and there's not much else of consequences in terms of politics and power. Like nobody else can be the Dominion in the Dominion. Everybody else is subservient to them. So nothing is as interesting as the Dominion. So I kind of question if a Gamma Quadrant-based show would even be interesting. I'm sure there's a way you could do it, of course, but everybody else seems to be just like, yes, sir. You know, what do you need? What can I do for you?
Or is it like one of those a joke I remember from Eddie Izzard when he was talking about Saving Private Ryan? You know, this great movie about the Americans. If you just move the camera, you could see the British. Just move the camera down the beach. We're right there, you know, because he's making fun about it's like this American film about World War II, which featured every other country. But anyway, I think like the Gamma Quadrant, like we just think like this section, and then it's like move it over there, and there's this whole like peaceful unicorns and butterflies section of the Gamma Quadrant we never hear about because it's, you know, on their other side of their version of the Briar Patch or something.
Well, I think it makes me think of two things. One is, you know, the fact that it's like you never see, or I feel like we never see Dominion subjects. Like I don't know what is the Dominion obviously is there supposed to be like the antithesis of the Federation, so there's all these different races under them, but I don't feel like we ever spend any time on like a normal Dominion space world that like are the Jem'Hadar like police or like
there's the one that they talk about and I'm going to get this wrong because it's been a long time since I've seen the episode, but I believe it's the one with Quark and Zephyr Cochrane. I could be wrong about that.
No, you're already wrong, but go ahead.
What's Zephyr?
Well, it's not actually Zephyr. It's
I know what you're talking about.
It's the actor.
James Cromwell.
Cromwell.
Where they're in the but see, are those people like in the Dominion space or are they subject? Like I don't know what the rules are by being.
Is that the one with Worf and Dax?
No,
I know it's the one with the torpedo where they're trying to.
One.
It takes place on the Defiant.
But I'm actually mixing that up with the first ever episode that the Dominion are name dropped, and that was the other one where they're like, "No, you don't do business around here without going through the Dominion." Like, it just seemed. You know, you could say that it's a lack of fleshing.
I need to know the rules
writing
before I can play the game. I mean, which apparently is the opposite of how the Wadi do things. So maybe that's saying something.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot.
So there's that.
Well, I would say Star Trek is bad, though. To pick on your earlier point, Darren, that they are. You know, they have this bad thing of doing sort of one note. You know, all the Romulans dress the same, all the Klingons look the same, so all the Dominion are just the three things we came up with: Jem'Hadar, Vorta, and Found. That's it.
Well, to be fair,
I was going to say, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say it makes the most sense with Dominion. It doesn't make sense with individualistic, like races, like the Romulans or something like that. But it makes the most sense with the Borg and with the Dominion, where the Borg are obviously all the same, and where the Dominion, everybody's designed for a certain role. Like that makes sense. Like no Jem'Hadar is going to have. Like there's episodes and episodes and episodes about how the Jem'Hadar don't have personalities, and the same thing.
I
with
need
the
to see the Jem'Hadar file clerk. What what is he like?
The computer expert, right? Or I guess that'd be a Vorta job. You know, it's very like it's a caste system, Darren. But anyway, but I was just saying, like as far as the conquered people, like we never see the conquered worlds of the Romulan Star Empire, the conquered worlds of the Klingon Empire. You know, it's not just Klingons. It's not just. I mean, if they have an empire. Surely they don't just like kill it. Well, maybe they do, but they don't just kill the entire inhabitants and take over the planet and call it a day. You know, there's got to be
just half.
I mean, like for instance, and I know this is going to be a terrible reference, y'all will groan and roll your eyes about, but like the Sona, right? They explain, hey, in Insurrection, these the weird girls that are like the slave girls, They're like, hey, they give the little, they enslave these people, and that's why there's more than one species here. Of course, it's a movie, so we can do a lot more makeup. But anyway, yeah, no, I agree. We should have had some populating, planets in the Gamma Quadrant.
So then my other thought, though, is it makes me think back to in the most recent Star Trek Discovery book, something about fear itself. Yeah. They did a really good job of putting the fear of the Tholian assembly. Like, man, they sounded, I mean, yeah, well, but I mean, like, the way that it, because, most of the fear is, like, how people react. So seeing how these other races were just, like, petrified of pissing off or drawing the attention of the Tholians because they knew, like, that would be terrible. So that makes me feel, so that gave me the thought of, okay, if we're doing a series in the Gamma Quadrant, maybe it's near enough to the wormhole that, we can access it, but it's not like right there. So it's not like, hey, peace out, we got to go jump over to, we're basically at Deep Space Nine. If you're at the wormhole, you're basically at Deep Space Nine. But put it far enough away, but put it near the border enough where, again, you don't want to draw the attention of the Dominion.
I would also think, and again, Deep Space Nine is not my favorite, but I will, I'm not saying they should have changed anything, though. It's not my cup of tea. But anyway, I feel like, in the larger sense, would it have made sense for the Federation? I mean, again, you shouldn't stake claims in a place that's not yours, but build a space station or an outpost on the other side of the wormhole just to be like something.
That feels super. I mean, not to say
don't
that.
Don't they have a colony or some
very
sort of outpost?
Of the,
I thought they did, and then it gets overrun. I know they have the transmitter.
Right.
The transmitter was,
and I think they have was there Bajoran colonies, or am I making that up out of my head?
No,
I think there
was.
I
completely forgotten. But there was New Bajor, which I believe,
because isn't that where Kaiopaka dies? Where she's heading over there, and something bad happens, and like they can't die, but if they stay on the planet, yeah. Oh, it's New Bajor asterisk. You got to read the fine print about staying at this place.
So yeah, I mean, it's made sense. I mean, the Federation, much like America, isn't facially imperialistic, but
no, but
the Federation does like to grow, usually through friendliness, but
through hugs and kisses.
Exactly.
What actually is surprising to me is that the Dominion isn't more controlling of the entrance to the wormhole. Even after they learn about its existence and these other people coming through and all this sort of stuff, every time our intrepid heroes on their tiny ship that's very tough apparently want to go through, they never have any trouble. Yeah, well, it's pretty small. If you can fit in the shuttle bay of other,
it's bigger than a bread box.
So it's interesting to me that like for such this tough empire that's like, doesn't no nonsense. They don't. And they're literally coming through the wormhole at some point. Why not? Why don't they have an outpost right there? Like, why don't they have a space station that's ginormous and huge and massive, and anything that comes through?
In any strategy game, you always build your thing, and then you go forward. Whether it's Risk or Catan or anything, you got to build your thing. Did they not find enough sheep to build their outpost or something?
Oh, geez.
They had to trade for some wood.
For some wool.
Show me brick. Come on. Have it robbed again.
Space brick. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Here comes the Jem'Hadar, that one piece that moves around and causes grief. The robber.
It's just the quark.
Now, I will say, if we're talking about the terms of like a Gamma Quadrant show, it would be much more interesting post Deep Space Nine. Like after the collapse of the Dominion, after I'm sure the Federation.
You could do a whole. I'm just interrupting you for 2 seconds. Like if you want to do a metaphor, so post Soviet Union collapse,
Yeah, exactly.
You can have efforts of where we're trying to take, the Eastern European, but then of course you have like a Putin perhaps type figure trying to make Dominion great again. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, I'm sure the Federation would impose rules where they could no longer, they couldn't have the Jem'Hadar addicted to Tetracyl White.
Just say
no. They couldn't. Just say no.
Just say no.
And they couldn't, they couldn't.
Wait. I'm
genetically
seeing the
engineer
Federation
Vorta.
Dare
Oh, gosh.
officers that they're putting in the Jem'Hadar
Guys,
schools.
I know how to solve the Jem'Hadar problem, guys. Dare to be different.
Oh man. So that's way more interesting to me than an actual one that takes place during the show.
Sure.
But afterwards, that's a volatile region of space. Presumably, there's going to be a giant power vacuum. What's gonna take that up? It's not going to be the Wadi. We know that.
Are you sure? I mean, they're good at game theory.
I suppose.
Because I'm trying, as I'm rewatching Voyager, and I know you know this, but just to state it, so you had the Kazon, then you sort of have VDNs, and then nothing. I'm trying to remember as the seasons go by. Blah 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 Borg, obviously. But I'm skipping up some aliens, but the Hirogen, right? You got them. So like you have the Dominion, so assume they're sort of the Borg metaphor. What aliens do we know of, or what aliens would you like to see that would sort of be the Demi powers? Like maybe it's the small players who never got a chance, but now the Dominion's crumbled. Maybe it's their time to shine.
Oh, so maybe take it. So are we deciding if we want to do it after the Dominion War then?
Yeah, so let's go with Daniels. So like I said, it's the post-Soviet breakup. The wall has fallen. In this case, it's the wormhole. And so where do we go from there? As far as the makeup of the, I'm trying to think. Like we never saw, and again, I'm not the greatest Deep Space Nine expert, so feel free to correct me. We never saw anything really weird. Like. It just looked like regular space. I mean, it's all the entire universe, so it shouldn't be crazy different. But, it's a chance to be like, hey, I've never seen this before. Gamma Quadrant.
Well, we saw, I would argue that the Founder's homeworld is pretty different than anything we'd seen before.
That's true.
Well, it's all goopy, but yeah.
Why?
No, it is like the, Hell Planet, whatever, in Voyager, where they gloop onto Voyager and then make Operation Oblivion or whatever that episode's called.
Yeah. You know what? And when you were talking, Philip, about like, the Borg and then the Hirogen, like, this is just thinking about it. Like, that's kind of what I want for like the Picard series or going further. Would be a Milky Way where basically travel is so fast. Not instantaneous.
Slipstream.
Yeah, sure. Not instantaneous, but fast enough where everybody we know, all of these different powers can now interact. Mm-hmm. So everybody from the Delta Quadrant and the Beta Quadrant and the Gamma Quadrant and the Alpha Quadrant.
Space or distance is not really an issue anymore.
Right.
Or it's not much of an issue. Yeah.
So we're only confined by the galaxy. So that way we could definitely play with different power dynamics. The Borg could invade post Dominion collapse.
Well,
what would that look like?
I mean, not to be technical, don't the Gamma and Delta quadrants meet? I mean, surely the Borg is touching Dominion space at some point, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and if that defense collapsed, there's nothing. It could be the Hirogen that come in and take up a big. It could be the Kazon. It can't be the Kazon because they're terrible.
Yeah.
But it could be a bunch of other species.
No, we just half an episode of the Dominion wiping out the Kazon.
Even in their terribly weak.
Yeah, they're just like, we just don't even. Yeah.
The Borg just ignore the Kazon because why would you? Really. So now I really don't want to do this, but just what if the Borg were invading the Dominion? Like, who would we help?
The Borg.
That's interesting because at that point, I don't know. Nope, I'm out.
Because I'm assuming both things. So post Voyager, post Deep Space Nine, where obviously our plucky heroes destroy both. So you have a crumbled Dominion, and you have a crumbled Borg to the extent that they are. So when Janeway and company blew up the whatever they call the headquarters there. So I mean the Borg still exists certainly in some form, but they're kind of getting their act back together, and they're like, hey, there's these because you couldn't. Theoretically, assimilate the founders, right? I mean,
that's a
really good point.
But you could destroy their planet,
and you couldn't assimilate the Jem'Hadar per se unless they're going to do the catcher cell. What? Because I assume there's some body chemistry. That's obviously the trick.
Yeah,
to
but
them.
you could, if you're a Borg, you could remove that.
Right.
I think they would be able to assimilate them, no problem.
Man,
what I'm thinking
Jem'Hadar
is,
Borg.
That would be cool.
We're
what I'm thinking
doomed.
about is if the Dominion are crippled, the Borg are crippled, and now the Romulans are crippled.
Mhm.
That's leaving a very I mean, and I kind of don't want.
Well,
First
great,
World
all the
War II
baddies are
America.
gone.
Yeah, I don't want Star Trek to go back to Klingons as villains and turn them into. But somebody's gonna have to fill that void.
Mhm.
I don't know who you would pick.
What was the Oh Lord, I was just looking it up on Memory Alpha. The Hook knock. I don't know. Anyway, the Klingon bad guys. That were like they were fighting between the Klingon and the something. I don't know. They said they were in the Gamma Quadrant.
Oh, that one. I thought you were talking about the one where Kirk is there and like no, that's never mind. They're fighting the Federation.
But anyway, I feel like the villain should come from the Gamma Quadrant. Either it's someone who's staying quiet because of the Dominion, or, the Herc. That's who I'm trying to think.
Oh yeah.
It was in sort of Kalos, which invaded and plundered Quonos in the 14th century. I'm reading on Memory Alpha.
Yeah, the Cardassians also crippled at this point.
Yeah.
Then
Everybody's
you do
crippled.
Plucky. The Ferengi, they pull together a ginormous financial empire.
Well,
rule for 1,000 years.
Rom is in charge of Ferengi, if you just remember that for a moment. So,
I don't know. It's tough to say. What do you do? What do you do when it?
Yeah.
It's.
Well, I just think it is. Or it seems to me a open space. Like there's this big whole A in the Gamma Quadrant of. Because I mean, also, this is gonna be a dumb question because I know they just want to conquer, which is pretty one note. But anyway, like an entire quadrant of space—that's a lot to the Dominion to be like, you know what? We want 2 quadrants of space. I'm like, did they really have the entire Gamma Quadrant under their thumb? I feel like there's probably some sector of the Gamma Quadrant even they avoided because of reasons. Whether it's like some asteroid belt or nebula or like the Expanse or like in the Enterprise, whatever that thing, crazy area of space was.
Well, and maybe it even overlaps with something we already know. Like you mentioned earlier, the could be the oh god, it's really hot people like the Tholians. It could be the Tholians that.
Wait,
I was going to
you're
say
saying the
Edo when
Tholians
you
are
said the
pretty
really hot people.
Like, yeah, let's quantify that a little
okay,
bit.
they're hot as in temperature, but yeah, like of course, if we're dealing with a disc-like structure like the Milky Way, you're always going to overlap with 2 other of your neighbors. if we're
Daniel,
dividing
the
into
Milky
quadrants.
Way is flat.
Oh boy,
We would fall
What
off.
happens if you-
We're gonna fall off the edge. That's why I say that we should only travel within the quadrants that we know.
Well, I mean, technically it is disc shaped, but I don't think that's what you're inferring.
disc-ish
Disc-ish.
shaped.
Disc-esque. Is it disco shaped? Is that what you're trying to say? But anyway, because I guess you can't go too crazy per se in the same universe. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's possibilities for the Gamma Quadrant. That I don't know. Would you guys have wanted to see more in Deep Space Nine? Do you feel like Deep Space Nine didn't show enough, or was it just like we got the Dominion? That's all. That's enough, guys. Are you happy?
I mean, I get why they kept so much stuff, like with Cardassia and over here on our side of the wormhole. But I'm almost kind of wondering, what is it? I'm just almost wondering, would it be better if we had spent like a good chunk of a season like hitting back or going on the offensive? You know what I mean?
Well, it could be
This is the Federation, Darren.
Yeah. Well, and again, I'm sorry to use all these American analogies, but that's all I got in my pocket. Sorry. But a sort of a Marshall Plan of post-World War, Europe, which Germany was one of the ones we helped, of rebuilding. And so, what if the Federation's going there to rebuild our former people? And I'm sure, we occupied Germany. So the Federation could occupy the Dominion to make sure they are demilitarized, stuff like that under the peace treaty. So, it could be a better version of that.
How do you demilitarize the Founders?
Well, Odo has, I guess, taken care of that a little bit, right?
I guess, but
well, because we saw we have to assume, or do we, that all the Founders returned to the homeworld to get cured, and then so what are the Vorta and Jem'Hadar doing with their fleets, just spinning around waiting for orders?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, well, you're collapsing. That whole society is totally and utterly useless at that point. You cannot.
Well, do the Vorta get independence or something? I'm trying to remember how they worked. Are they like Kess? They just die after a couple years?
I don't think they went into details about it. They never explained like, oh yeah, we'll get these Jem'Hadar off Ketracel White. Like it wasn't. I mean, that sort of stuff was glossed over. It was peace in our time.
I mean, I know the Vorta are clones, but I mean, theoretically, even you get a bad clone like one of the Wayuns, right?
Yeah. No, was it number 7?
They were all good clones because they were all Jeffrey Combs.
No, we said clones, not combs.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. But here's the thing: we do see, and going through a list of episodes, there is a good chunk of Deep Space Nine episodes dedicated to episodes in the Gamma Quadrant, and stuff you don't think of a lot of times, like when O'Brien left Molly on Planet X or whatever it was. Like
vacation.
There's a lot of one-offs in, or when Jake and Nog and Cisco brought Jake and Nog. That I think it was the introduction to the Jem'Hadar.
Well, through the Vorta anyway. Yeah.
Was they were both there, weren't they? Anyway.
Yeah, they're both. Yeah.
That was for a science expo. It was a field trip for school. So like we do see a lot of the Gamma Quadrant, but it's
must be really close. Like that wormhole has like everything next to it. It's like the suburb of the urban center, but then past that, it's the rural Yokeville of the Dominion.
Exactly. Yeah, the pieces that we see are just insignificant, don't matter planets, and then everything else is somehow connected to the Dominion.
Yeah, maybe that's what it comes. Maybe there's like it's just rural Dominion, and that's why they seem powerful, but they're really in charge of like a huge swath of space, but no one lives there. It's the North Dakota of space.
There's that Avoid Nebula or something in the middle. Yeah. Nobody wants to go there.
I live in a rural area. I'm not knocking you off, but it's a big space and no one lives there. But anyway, and
like besides the fact of maybe having more stuff over in the Gamma Quadrant, like the Gamma Quadrant was, or the founders, or I guess the Dominion, I should say. The Dominion was always presented as this like unified front of evil. Like there was never really any. I mean, except for the Cardassians were the only ones where, they kind of
the brain.
Oh yeah,
that's true. I guess I was just feeling like it'd be interesting to see more. I want to see like one of the newer races, like I'd like to see some Vorta going bad or something like that, and just more.
all I'm picturing is just some Vorta just putting on sunglasses and on a motorcycle.
Be like, deal with it. He's like, deal with it.
Well, and that's why post Deep Space Nine is interesting, because what do the Vorta become?
Yeah,
I feel like they become kind of a Romulan-esque. Well, not even. They're kind of a little more suave.
They become irrelevant.
Because they're without orders, and they could think of one of two things. One, will continue what we believe, because I mean, this is the thing. They see the founders as gods, but they've had their gods around physically, which is unusual in a lot of religions. And so now they're in a perhaps more traditional theology of where your gods are no longer around, and so they have to interpret what they think the will of the gods are. And
although they are still there, I mean,
well, but they want to be left alone. I don't know how they left it, but anyway. And so, do they operate what they think, or because I mean, there's still the peace treaty, right? Whatever those terms are, but I guess that would be theoretically interesting.
How would the founders be even integrated into like galactic society? I can't imagine that they would.
That's true. Like kind of there's a security risk.
Yeah, there's like a lot of there that you would.
Oh, all the signs go up. No founders allowed.
No founders need to apply.
Yeah,
Star Trek could deal with some racist issues. I don't know. And from a science fiction point of view, I don't even know how you fix. Even from like a Star Trek science point of view, I don't even know how you would fix that issue. Like that would be very difficult. A lot of really interesting kind of subjects could come up through that examination, and then of course, what becomes of the Jem'Hadar?
Yeah.
Like, well, so how would we feel ethically? Do we let them die, or do we fix them? The killing machines, do you fix them? Because then how do you integrate Jem'Hadar, even if you do get them
Well,
hooked
there was
on
that
off
one
drugs.
TNG episode where they just took
program.
all their warriors and stuck them on a moon.
Yes, we pulled the Kirk maneuver, so we relieve them of their Ketracel white addiction, and then let them do whatever the hell they want, even though they've never done anything.
I was gonna say what they want to do is kill and like, yeah.
No, we take all the Jem'Hadar and we put them on this planet and plant them like a seed in space. One wonders.
So we get Jem'Hadar Khan. That sounds like a very bad idea. That sounds pretty terrible.
The Wrath of Jem'Hadar. So, okay, well, I won't belabor the topic, but any other things that, I mean, would you, so, I mean, Daniel, you mentioned the Picard series. Now, I really don't I'm not a diehard Star Trek news person. I mean, if it's important enough, everyone will talk about it on my Star Trek feed, so I don't go into, like, the small hints, like, oh, Star Trek Reliant is now trademark, like, whatever. But anyway, it sounds like, and you all tell me if you're not getting this feeling, that Star Trek is going to go to this Star Wars route of just like 1 million properties out coming next year, and so, if so, how would you like the Gamma Quadrant handled? Do you want it in the Picard series? Is it going to be in the new animated series? Is it the new musical coming to Broadway? How would you want Gamma Quadrant in the future?
Man, that's a complicated question. I don't even know, honestly, and I fear a little bit what that means for Star Trek in general. There was obviously the time in the 90s when there were 2 shows and a movie at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was kind of tough for them to keep their ducks in a row. If we're dealing now with 4 or 5 different shows, I don't know. I don't know. Somebody at the top has to have a vision of how this works out.
Yeah.
Because if the Picard show shows this one thing and it's this war torn or what, he deals with Romulans or what,
you know what? He would be a good person to help war torn or a recovering Dominion get their act together.
He would. He actually would be a really good person for that. I'm not sure
because of all the things he did during the Dominion War.
Yes, all of that. You remember the Battle of
with the Enterprise D, where 13? No, that's it. Because he had nothing to do with the Dominion War. The Dominion will be a cloud. Okay, this guy didn't do anything. Okay, we're glad to welcome him. It seemed like he went out of his way to not get involved in anything with the Dominion War.
I don't know. To answer your question, I don't know.
So, Darren, imagine Picard is assigned to this diplomatic space station that's built as a way for all the people in the Gamma Quadrant to come together for our last best hope for peace.
Daniel's making that
the
face
year
again,
is
Philip.
20. The name of the place is Station Gamma.
Oh, I'd watch it in a heartbeat. Give me 5 years of that, I'd be so happy. But no, I think
just so the listeners are aware, we're
I
talking.
don't know what you're talking about, Daniel. What are you talking about?
We have been talking about a Deep Space Nine topic today, and 25 minutes of it has been dedicated to Babylon 5. I just want everybody to know this.
Oh, well, let's wait till next week.
I'll note it in my log.
But no, I think, yeah, I see what you're saying about like you're saying, oh, it's going to do it the way Star Wars is doing. Well, Star Wars fans aren't exactly happy with the way Star Wars is doing it. But
well, I mean, look, I'm not a Star Wars fan, but just as an outsider, mostly happy. Right?
It's really, it's overall not that bad. It really is.
I know Last Jedi was controversial. Some liked it, some didn't. And then Solo was sort of like, I'd rather you didn't. But other than that, I mean, everything seems, the new cartoons.
I think if you get past the whole, like, if you're giving multiple options, that kind of takes some of the sting away of like, oh, that particular thing you did wasn't really something I was interested in. It's like, that's fine because there's 3 more things coming down the pipe. That's, but yeah.
Pike.
You
said pipe.
I said pipe, but
the turnpike is what he said.
But
okay.
But no, I think if you're gonna do different things, that's one thing. But like, make them really different. Do different formats or different like ways that they're broadcast.
Choose your own adventure books.
Oh, jeez. Choose your pain.
Weirdly, I died in both choices. So,
but yeah, we'll see. I mean, again, I'm still kind of under the feeling of more Star Trek, that's still a good thing. Let's just see what they give us.
Sure.
My biggest issue is if something like the Picard show comes out and they don't even address these issues. Like, don't do it. You don't have to like ham fist us over our head and be like, here's the history of the last 30 years. What you do is you do it subtly. You have like Vorta in the background in Starfleet uniforms.
Right.
Or,
Cardassian ensign.
Yeah, that's true. There's ways you
it...
can. I think the one thing that we all want is them to play in the universe. As far as, okay, well, it's okay to set it in the future, but, you can reference anything from the past 50 years of Trek. Like, it's okay to do that. You don't have to stay in your little sandbox.
And you don't have to do it in the first episode.
No.
You just show stuff. You have an idea of what the outline is. You show stuff, and then, you know what? In season 2, halfway through, then you do your Vorta episode where we learn the back history of what happened after the Dominion War. We don't need all that up front. We just need...
Or maybe like Picard's comm officer has pointed ears, and when he turns around, you realize it's a Romulan, and then through him, we learn...
There you go.
We learn like about his people's struggle of rebuilding after the supernova destruction. Like,
right.
There you go.
Is it going to be Daniel's character from STO? That's my only question.
I hope so, because I'd have a lot of money if that was the case. But it's
that would be awesome.
Actually, I probably signed away those rights when I signed the.
Whatever, no one reads it. It's fine. That's right. We're all basically giving them story ideas every time you play STO.
That's true.
Or every time we do the show.
Well, technically, they're giving you guys stories with STO, so it's.
I press the button a lot. I feel like that's the story. Well, guys, this is all good stuff for the Gamma Quadrant. I'm looking forward to 5 seasons of Station Gamma with a 1-season spinoff that's not quite as good, but at least they tried, and the novels and TV movies, which Daniel does not believe are actual movies. So, if folks want to talk to me about how such a story would work out, now, the captain's going to change after the first season, but it's complicated. They can find me on Twitter at NCPublicServant. And Daniel, if people want to talk to you about your DARE program about Ketracel White, where can they reach you?
They can find me on Twitter at OneUpDan. That's the number 1, not the word, as in Ketracel White. Not even once.
It's the number 1 danger.
It's not the best
Darren?
catchphrase, but we'll run with it. Okay, we got nothing. We got to go to ship to air. Got to get it out.
And Darren, if people want to know where they can get their Gamma Quadrant map from, where can they find you?
Where can they get the Gamma Quadrant map?
It is the Enterprise C of stellar cartography maps.
Well, because they realized, why put all the time and effort in when it's literally just the Dominion and here's a couple little planets? But no, they can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram under Dr. Sci-Fi or my website, drsci-fi.com.
Right. And what are we talking about next week, whoever?
Well, next week, much to Daniel's chagrin, but wrapping up this month-long series of Babylon 5 as apparently we've been talking about it that much. In one last hurrah, we are going to be doing a station comparison between the two, which means I'm going to be giving Daniel some homework to watch a episode of Babylon 5.
This is going to be very awkward when I can't seem to find the time. Oh, man.
We can do a 2-parter, Daniel.
Yeah, we'll just do a 2-parter. There you go. We'll give you plenty of time.
They have them.
But no, I mean, as someone who didn't watch Babylon 5 during, the 90s and watched Deep Space Nine, religiously.
See, I did the opposite. That's why we're 2 different people.
So, yeah, so that'll be interesting to see our comparisons. And finally, we'll figure out which station is best. Just kidding. That's not what we're talking about. But
is this going to be the whole GoBots and Transformers again?
Oh, that's a deeper discussion. But I don't want to get too far off Star Trek topic. I mean, come on, Philip. This is a Star Trek podcast. We're not going to get too into the weeds. But yes, next week we're going to be doing set your VCRs for recording for our 90s flashback to the time.
Which numbered space station is number
space
1?
Stations. We'll call it the 9 to 5. Oh.
Oh. All right. Well, until next week, I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Darren Moser.
And I'm Daniel Prue.
And we're stranded here on Babylon 5.
No, not on Babylon 5. That's not.